All right, let's talk about London. This is a city that's so much more than just a capital, right? It's a true global powerhouse. We're talking about a place of just immense influence, but also constant change and some really deep contradictions. So let's dive in and figure out what really makes the city tick. You see, London's influence, it reaches way beyond its actual borders. I mean, it's like a global nerve center for finance, culture, you name it. But here's the thing. To really get a grip on its power today, you absolutely have to understand its incredible story of transformation.
So, the big question is, how on earth did a small Roman outpost on the River Thames turn into this modern metropolis of 9 million people? Well, to get to the bottom of that, we've got to go way back. We're talking nearly 2,000 years to see exactly how this city was forged.
And London's story, it really all begins with one single crucial feature, the River Thames. Seriously, it's not just some pretty landmark you see in pictures, it is the fundamental reason the city is even there in the first place.
If you look at the timeline, it's pretty wild. It all started as this Roman trading post called Londinium, and ever since, London's fortunes have just ebbed and flowed. It absolutely boomed during the Industrial Revolution, becoming this massive European port. But then came World War II. The damage, the loss of industry, it led to a really steep decline. But London wasn't done. In the late 20th century, it just completely reinvented itself, rising from the ashes as a hub for global finance and a total magnet for people from all over the world.
Okay, so let's get into the forces that are shaping the London we see today. And really, more than anything else, it all comes down to one thing: people. Think about this. 9 million people now call this city home. And get this, it's expected to cross the 10 million mark in the coming decades. That kind of incredible growth is really fueled by one key thing: its reputation as a global city of opportunity. And all that growth has created what is, without a doubt, one of the most culturally diverse places on the entire planet. I mean, check this out. Less than half of London's population now identifies as white British. That makes it a true global crossroads in every sense of the word.
So why? Why do so many people move to London? Well, the main reasons are pretty clear. You've got amazing employment opportunities, the promise of higher wages, a killer social lifestyle, plus it's just got this young, dynamic population. All that creates an energy, a kind of buzz that you can literally feel all across the city.
Man, you know, this migration has shaped the very fabric of the city, right down to the neighborhood level. You can see it everywhere, from the post-war Windrush generation that came from the Caribbean, to the bustling South Asian communities you'll find in Southall, and of course the iconic Chinatown. The whole city is just this beautiful mosaic of vibrant, distinct cultures.
And if you want a perfect symbol of London's economic shift, just look at the Docklands. This area used to be the heart of a massive global shipping empire. Then it just fell into decline. But out of the ruins of all those old warehouses rose Canary Wharf, this gleaming modern financial district with skyscrapers that now rival the old city center. I mean, the scale of this rebirth is just staggering. Today, more than 100,000 people work in Canary Wharf alone. It really is the ultimate symbol of London's pivot from being an old industrial port to a modern global financial hub. Of course, to support an economic engine like that, you need massive investment in infrastructure. That's where huge projects like the new Elizabeth Line come in. They are absolutely crucial. They shrink travel times across this sprawling city and make it so much easier for this huge workforce to get around. But here's something that might actually surprise you. You think of London, you think of steel and glass, right? Well, it's also incredibly green. About half the city's area is classified as green space. We're talking everything from huge royal parks to tiny neighborhood gardens. It's so green, in fact, it earned the title of the world's very first National Park City. How cool is that? Okay, but this success story definitely has a flip side. Because being such a huge world city, well, it brings enormous pressures and some really significant challenges for the people who actually call it home.
One of the biggest problems for sure is the deep social inequality. I mean, it's staggering. Your income, your health outcomes, even how long you're expected to live can be dramatically different depending on which part of the city you're in. It's really a stark tale of two cities existing right next to each other.
And then there's the environmental cost, which is serious. The sheer volume of traffic, all the activity, it means air pollution has become a major health crisis. It's actually linked to thousands of premature deaths in the city every single year.
But maybe the most pressing challenge of all is housing. The city just isn't building enough new homes to keep up with its booming population. It's not even close.
And that fundamental gap between supply and demand, that's what drives prices through the roof, making London one of the most expensive places to live on the entire planet.
So the question becomes, where do you build all these new homes? Well, the first option is to look at what are called brownfield sites. Basically, that means redeveloping old, disused industrial land, like old factories, that's already inside the city.
The other option, and this one is a lot more controversial, is to build on greenfield sites. And that's exactly what it sounds like. Undeveloped land, like farmland, which is often on the edge of the city and part of the protected green belt that surrounds London.
And right there, you have a massive dilemma. Building on those brownfield sites, that's smart urban planning, right? You're using existing infrastructure, but it can be really expensive and complicated to clean up that old land. On the other hand, building on greenfield sites is way easier and cheaper, but it means sacrificing precious countryside and natural habitats. As you can see, there are just no easy answers here.
Which kind of leaves us with this final big question. London's story is, without a doubt, one of incredible success and constant reinvention. But the real challenge for its future is this. Can it manage its incredible growth, tackle those deep-seated inequalities, and finally solve its housing crisis, all without sacrificing the very dynamism and openness that makes it a world city in the first place?